What's up? It's the Criminal Pickle here. So sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy with school stuff, you know how it gets. But yeah, I am back and I have built another thing out of Legos. Not a transformer this time. Something a little bit different. So this build had perfect timing with the idea that I had of it. So I have recently really gotten into Fallout. I've been really wanting to play the games. I watched the show and it was really good. And it was a thing playing the games was something I wanted to do for a really long time. But then, like, watching the show reminded me of that, and it was really good. It was a really good adaptation of the games, and I've seen a lot about the games. Anyways, I have constructed power armor. It's not based off of any one set of power armor. I wanted to make something custom and original, and hopefully I'm not put on some kind of list for doing so. Anyways, I've said that a lot. So, I'm going to be reviewing that, and I think it's super cool. I hope you think that too. So, here it is in all of its glory, the power armor that I've made. I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but I'm sure it'll come to me. So, as you can probably see, here, I'm going to get it off of the little stand here that I made for it. I'll showcase this later. As you can probably tell, as I mentioned in the intro, it's not based off of any one set of power armor from the games. I wanted to make something custom and original. There is parts inspired from certain pieces, like this chest piece I got from the T60 model. These shoulder pads are inspired by the X01 set of armor. This backpack here I know is very exaggerated, but I had to in order to fit a key detail that I think is very cool. Now, obviously, it can't put a actual person inside, but here is a minifigure for scale. And it definitely does not scale well at all. It is much bigger than minifig scale, but I think it is still very cool. So now onto the rack holder thingy for it. I don't remember the name of what this actually is. If someone wants to let me know, that would be great. I would very much appreciate that. Anyways, it actually can move around some parts of it, which is a detail I added on pretty late in the process. But I'm definitely glad I added on, in case I want to make more small versions of this power armor that will still be compatible with this, because I definitely don't want to remake versions for it every single time I make a set of power armor. So I think that's about it for the stand rack thingy. Now for weapons. So far I've only made one weapon for it, which is this gun here, made simple out of this gun piece. a lightsaber handle, a candle piece, that a 1x1 clip, and these 2x2 rounded pieces. 2 of them were used. I don't know how well you guys can see that. But yeah, in terms of posability, it is very good. Now, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for me to show you guys how it is right now. Because I have one hand for the holding the camera. Hold on a sec. Yeah, so here's the power armor. It has a, because of the shoulder pad gets in the way, but it can still extend its arm out decent. Though you can flap this down and get a longer bend, but I don't like to do that very much. Other than that, it has a rotation here. Again, the shoulder pads kind of get in the way here at the back, but if you just nudge them a little bit, you can get a full 360-degree bend, or rotation. The elbows are at a ball joint, so you can move this 180 degrees, as well as a 360-degree swivel. It also has these clips for hands, so it can hold various things and objects. It has some rotation at the hips. Not very much, though, because the backpack kind of hinders the movement. The legs, because they have ball joints at the knees and at the hips here, these would be able to get a long or large range of motion, but because of these plates that get in the way, it can't really move super far out, but relatively flexible still. This has the same movement as the elbows, except this gets in the way, so it doesn't get a full 180 degrees. The feet can angle, but not very well. The head, again, the movement is slightly hindered by the shoulder pads, but you can still get a little bit of movement out of it. You can get some rotation, but not very much of it, and you can't look up and down. Now, something cool I would like to show about the back. I did add the wheel turny thingy. I keep forgetting what it's called. But the wheel, you turn it and it, opens up. I did add that, though it doesn't open up very far. I don't know if you guys can see that cheese slope. I added it to make this look cleaner. And while it does do that job, it limits how far it can extend out by a little bit. Anyways, so to open up the back, you pull this up, flip these pieces out, these flaps, and you move these up, flip these up even more, then rotate that. So that ends up looking like that. And do the same on the other side.
And now it's open up. That's as far as you're gonna get. Now, I had these pieces, the gun pieces, I added to make it look kind of like handles that you could, like, grab onto when climbing in. And one little detail that I did add, because I wasn't able to make it so you could, get in it, is when you open it up, you get access to this little itty bitty fusion core, which I did my best to represent, though it didn't end up super amazing. You just plug it in here, flip that down, and just close up those flaps. I know this definitely isn't at all accurate. I mean, it's not super accurate. I just did what I wanted to here, and I tried to be as accurate as possible, but I also wanted to add my own personal flair. And, putting in obviously, the fusion core wouldn't fit in that hole. So, and I wanted to make this as many details as I could. I wanted to make it so you could put in the fusion core. So I had to make a few sacrifices. Although there are some things that aren't based off of the games at all. Like at all. But so if you watch the Fallout show, very great show, by the way. I would 100% recommend you watch it, especially if you're a fan of the games. Yeah, so the ghoul mentioned that, spoiler warning, by the way. So don't keep watching if you haven't watched the show yet. Go watch it now. So, anyways, so the ghoul mentions a design flaw, and this is mentioned a few times in the show. With a design flaw with the T-45 power armor, and he figures out that they didn't fix it in the T-60 model. So he exploited this, obviously. It's like a welding problem, like below this plate thingy. This plate thingy. Here. Anyways, a welding issue below that. That is a very weak point. So I added this little plate, this little guard here, to, protect that. Anyways, and one other detail that I added that I got from the show is, if you got this from the Brotherhood of Steel and you are a knight in the Brotherhood of Steel, and you have a squire who you kind of don't like, you can actually take this piece off of your power armor, give it to them, and tell them to clean it. So, just a little reference to the show there, for people who that have, that came out weird, to people who have watched it. By the way, that trick is especially useful if you are Knight Titus or are pretending to be Knight Titus. So, I think that's really all I have to show off here. So, I'm just going to show you a few poses you can put this guy in. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a lot of work to make, and I definitely could have made it a lot earlier. I was procrastinating. I had a lot to do. But I think it ended up pretty good. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this. Anyways, this has been the Criminal Pickle, signing out.